Garrett, we get asked a lot of questions, a ton of questions by home buyers. Can you give people sort of an overview of the home buying process? What are the key steps?
Sure. The very first step is an accurate pre-approval. This is where we're looking at the borrower's income, assets, credit, liabilities. We want to make sure that they're viable and that they're going to be successfully approved once they go under contract on a home. It's the most important step to make sure it's done accurately ahead of time, before the home search begins. After that, they'll go under contract. We'll complete processing and underwriting. We'll have an appraisal done at that time. And we're ultimately looking for the final step, what's called the clear to close. That's when we've met all conditions, we've satisfied everything that underwriting has asked for, and we can schedule a closing date.
Garrett, in the home buying process, what comes first? Should people be looking for a house that they want to buy, or should they get pre-approved for financing?
Definitely get pre-approved first. That's even going to help them and their realtor narrow down the search of what's going to work for them. If they're out just looking at any house possible, they don't know what the payment's going to be, what the mortgage insurance or PMI would be. Definitely need to take care of the pre-approval first.
A lot of times I meet people who have been turned down for financing and they give up. In fact, last week I met a girl in Portland. She'd been turned down for financing already, and so she gave up on her housing hunt. If somebody is turned down for financing, does that mean there's no hope?
Definitely there's hope. Every bank has different requirements. And additionally, if somebody's not approved today, I can help lay out an action plan of what's going to get them pre-approved down the road. It could be 60 days, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, depending on what's there and what challenges we have to work through. But I would say there's hope.
What are the key steps to the home buying process?
The best thing would be to get organized. Start gathering all of your financial information. Last 2 years of W-2s, last 2 years of tax returns, 2 recent bank statements, a couple pay stubs. That's going to ensure an accurate pre-approval, and if there's anything that we have to work through, we can figure that out ahead of time before somebody's under contract. It's also very important for somebody that has poor or marginal credit to make sure that they're paying their rent with a check every month.
Before buying a home, to get pre-approved for financing, why is it important that people pay their rent in checks instead of paying it in cash?
Verifying a rental history for somebody that may have poor or marginal credit, that's seen as a compensating factor to an underwriter. So if they can verify that their housing history was paid on time, even though they had some credit issue and challenges along the way, that's a great compensating factor to help ensure that ultimately our mortgage will be paid on time.
Obviously, having good credit is important for buying a home. What else is important, Garrett? What do you look for?
The next biggest factor is the debt to income ratio. How much income does somebody have to the existing and proposed debt that they're going to have with a potential purchase? So we look at a housing ratio, how much of their income is going to the proposed housing expense, and then also a total debt to income ratio, which takes into play of their total existing debt, credit cards, cars, school loans, on top of the proposed housing payment.
Garrett, let's talk a little bit more about the ratios, the debt to income ratio, the DTI. If somebody is looking to buy a 3 or 4 unit building in Portland, can you qualify that income? Does that income help them get qualified for more purchasing power?
Absolutely. Conventional financing allows 75% of the non-owner occupied units towards qualifying. FHA allows 85% from the non-owner occupied units. So absolutely we can count that.
One of the things I often emphasize to my clients and why I recommend you to them is because you're right here in Portland, you're on Forest Avenue. Why is it so important to have a local Portland-based lender as opposed to working with a lender in Texas or in California?
Deals can get killed from an out-of-state lender. A lot of times the pre-approval process is not done accurately, which we talked about at the beginning. I ensure if I'm giving somebody a pre-approval letter that they're going to get closed, subject to things I can't control, like an appraisal or a job loss. But I'm going to do it accurately. I'm going to give them the best overall deal that I can in terms of rate and closing costs, and it's going to be done on time.
Another question I'm often asked, Garrett, is how much money do I need to buy a house? Is 20% down, is that the norm?
Depending on the program, the property type, where somebody's buying, it could be as little as 0 down through the Rural Development Program for a single family house.
That's great.
That's fantastic. FHA with as little as 3.5% down. Conventional, a first-time home buyer can be done with 3% down. So there are a lot of different options before they need to come in with a 20% large down payment.
So people should always come to you first to find out how much money they need to put down.
Absolutely.